Hey, welcome to the Undrafted Hockey Fan Podcast. Today we're going to talk about the update of the players that the Blackhawks just essentially gave away. Some of the ones that we're going to be talking about, and the way that I'm phrasing giveaway is either they didn't get the value for them or they just let them walk. And so for me, those players that I'm looking at right now, we have Puis Suter, Alex DeBrincat, Dominik Kubalik, and Kirby Dach. And so for me, two of those players were traded away, two of those players were allowed to walk. And so for me, especially for the position that the Blackhawks are in, they need to optimize every opportunity they can to say, hey, like this is what we need for them. Even if you got like a seventh round pick, it's something, right? You're able to generate something from those players because that's why you have them. That's why you draft them, so that even if you draft them, you should be getting something back from them, especially in your position like them where they're just letting players walk and they're in the middle of a rebuild. It doesn't make sense. So we're going to move on and we're going to talk about some of those players. So the first player we're going to talk about is Puis Suter with the Detroit Red Wings. So he did start off with Chicago being. He was undrafted, so he came in and he was making $925,000, and so with that he is now making $3 and a quarter million. So with that, he's doing much better. He's getting paid a lot more, of course. Now, if we go down to his actual stats with the Blackhawks, he was actually about a half a point per game player. You can see right here, which is good. Good for him, by the way. That's an amazing player. And I can't believe that the Blackhawks, especially in the position where they were at, they just let him walk. They couldn't get anything for him, and that to me that is hard to believe. Now, I will say that he was undrafted, so I think that has some credibility to say, hey, man, I don't know if we can get anything for him. So, I mean, they had to have tested the market, but I thought he did really well for the team, especially being half-point player. So now he did go out there and he ended up getting a good contract, $3 million. They said $3.25 million from the Detroit Red Wings. Now we're seeing a half-point per game player right here, and then you go on to the following year with the Red Wings, who were not a good team, right? They had 8th in the lottery for 2022, so not very good. But he was adjusting to a new team, right? Some people need adjustments, and that makes sense. And so with that, you're looking at half a point per game player right here, and this is about, I would say, about a 40.4 points game per player, right? If you're looking at 82 games, you're looking at 41 points for the whole season to say, hey, this is a half a game point per player. So. But he did not get there, and now if we move on. But he has value. That's what I'm trying to say, is that some of these players have value, and it's amazing that with the position that they were in. Because the thing is if we actually go to this trade history for the Chicago Blackhawks, I mean they've been trading people away. So here's 2022. So here look at they got a draft pick for Ryan Carpenter. Here we go. They traded away Brendan Hagel and got a couple first round picks, right? So you're looking here. There's a 1-for-1, a 1-for-1. You're looking at, okay, so they moved Malcolm Subban. That was just to get the cap off. Zadorov, 3rd round pick, right? They ended up picking up Andre Fleury, who they did end up flipping eventually, right? They picked up Tyler Johnson. They moved Brent Seabrook, got a draft pick. I mean, the Seth Jones one, I would disagree in that one. But you can see that there isn't this, they are moving guys out to pick up other guys, right? So you can see they're picking up draft picks here, right? They're not, it's not as though they didn't know they were trying to go into a rebuild. They were making some of the same things that they needed to get into a rebuild. And so with that, I don't know why they're letting someone like this go away, a half point per game player almost, right? Well, and especially now, look at almost half point per game player on a different team. Now, in this case, he was expected to be a 2C, and the thing is Puis Suter is not a 2C. He doesn't have the talent, and that's okay because he was undrafted. He just wasn't in NHL system. Not saying they're better, but that's the reason that players come over to play in the NHL is because it's typically a better competition. But he was not drafted, and so he showed enough signs that the Red Wings were willing to take a flyer on him, and they did, and they paid him quite a bit of money because they had to cap space to be able to do that for 2 years, and it worked out well for them. They had a guy, now they have a center, right? And now he's moving over. He is ended up playing more wing now. So you're seeing Veleno and Rasmussen playing the 3rd and 4th C. Andrew Copp taking over the 2C. Of course, Larkin at the 1st C. But he is a valuable player for the Red Wings, right? And so he has the ability to be in a center position if one of the other guys is not working out at the time. So, and then you go on to the Red Wings right now. He is still he's under a half point per game player, but he's not far off, right? 8 points times 2 is 16 games. So he's a little bit under, right? So he's It's not off, right? And you can look at 71 points over his 156 NHL games, right? Still a little under half a game point per game player. Maybe not worth $3.25 million, but he is a valuable player. You could have gotten something for him, right? And now the Red Wings, if they want to, which I do believe they're either going to let him walk or or send him off to just, here we'll retain half and we'll take a third round pick for him, right? Or something like that, or fourth round. Probably end up being like a fourth round pick, honestly. They'll probably not be able to move him because he has value. That's the thing, is that the Red Wings were capitalizing on value, and I don't know why the Chicago was not capitalizing on the value that Puis Suter was able to bring. So that's, again, you're going to see that as a theme as being the most confusing thing for me. So let's move on to one of the bigger guys, Alex DeBrincat. Okay, so this is, again, confusing. I can't not play that material because that is NHL copyright, and I tried to pause it. But anyways, so DeBrincat, he was a second round draft pick at 39th overall, essentially almost a first round draft pick at this point. I don't know why he fell, but he was with the Chicago for 3 years, I believe. Yep. So he had his 3 years, right, or 4 years. Look at that. So he is 1, 2, 3, 4 years with them, and then he ended up getting moved. He signed with the Blackhawks for his ELC and everything. And his RFA status, and then he signed a contract for $6.4 million, and so that still had 1 year left on it, the 2022-2023 season. Now he ended up being traded too. If we look over the transactions over here, Alex DeBrincat right here gets traded for a first, a second, and a third, right? So you're looking at two picks in the 2022 draft, and then a third pick, which we don't know who they end up coming out to be. I believe the first round pick was Frank Nazar, which I thought was a great pick, a great center pick, especially because we're going to see how he's developed. So I think he'll see have a pretty high ceiling. So hopefully we'll see how that ends up working out. But with DeBrincat, again, this is a young player. So, right, let's look at his age. He signed his ELC is 19. Look, he's 24 years old, right? So this is a kid that you end up should be, he should be almost like he should be a captain at the end of this, right? So you're looking at someone, and think about like other wingers that are captains. You typically see with a defenseman, or you see a centers end up being a lot of captains on teams. But he's 24 years old, so I don't understand why this guy wouldn't be a captain in the long term. Because what you look at as you see a person who can perform. I mean, I think in his first year, it was a Calder year, or first year he's played 40. Oh no, second year. So going down to the stats, you can see right here. He had 28 goals, 24 assists, 52 points in his first year in the NHL, which is amazing. That's awesome. That's huge, especially for such a young guy, being 18, 19 years old. Right? And then you move on to the second year. Holy smokes, 76 points in 82 games, and it's 41 goals. Why are you trading away a potential 40 goal person, right? And you kind of move through, still 45 points, still awesome. 56 points in 52 games, over a point per game player. 30 goal season. He's had 3 30-goal seasons in 5 years, and then he almost had another one, right? So you're 60% chance he's going to be a 30-goal scorer. That's phenomenal. And so, and even like the 52 game season for the 2020-2021 season, that season got shortened, right? It was a shortened season, right? And so he was on pace. So if we look and if we do the math real quick, the math I just did a 32 divided by 52 times the 82 games. It was a 50-goal pace. 50-goal pace. And that's, I don't know why you're moving this guy. I don't know. I don't think you're gonna be able to find another 40-50 goal per player, because how are you going to find him in the first round? It's a crazy that they traded him away. It doesn't make sense. I thought they did not get the value back for him. Now, if we look at what he's doing right now with the Senators, right? 16 points, 20 goals, 5 goals so far. So if you're looking at over an 82 game pace, it's like you're looking at 21 goals. So he is a little slower start. Now Ottawa is in the bottom 3 teams right now in the league, so you can't expect much from him at this point, but there's that potential. We know there's that potential, right? So it's similar. We're going to talk about Dominik Kubalik too, talk about potential and everything too. You're looking at this and you're saying, hey, I don't know, this is the type of player that you build around. I don't know what you mean, because I know these types of rebuilds can take a long time, but I don't know why you're not taking this kid and you're not saying, hey, we can invest in him long term, we can do something with him. I'm moving on to my main title. So I don't know why you're not trying to invest in this kid. He is gonna be elite, and that's what Ottawa is seeing. Ottawa is making the steps. They're picking out the elite players now, and so why aren't you trying to invest in these players? Why aren't you trying to keep them, hoard them, and then go through out your other pieces that you don't want, right? Why throw away a Kirby Dach? Why throw away these big scorers who've done well? Now I understand that a lot of these players end up being, I think with DeBrincat, they talked about playing with Patrick Kane was a huge upper, and I totally get that. But having someone that is a monster player like that, just getting someone that can set him up, build him with someone who can set him up, draft someone who can set him up, right? You're seeing this with Jason Robertson right now in the Stars organization. You have Joe Pavelski and Roope Hintz. That line is a monster line. I don't know why. So, and we know Joe Pavelski's old. Roope Hintz is young, though. But the thing is these guys are working well together. They're able to feed off that energy, right? And eventually, Joe Pavelski's either going to move to another team or he's going to retire. I don't think he will for a little bit. I think he's still going to stick with the Stars for as long as he can. But the thing is they're going to get other playmakers. So they're going to be able to work well with them, right? We're looking at Marner's and Matthews and Marner. Matthews and Marner. They play phenomenal well together, and it doesn't matter that so many points come from Marner or Bunting or whoever it is, right? It's the fact that there's some chemistry there. So why aren't you running with this, right? Why aren't you trying and building this kid's confidence and showing his value and everything? Again, and the reason I'm saying is that I think the first round draft pick is not enough. It's hard to find. You might be able to find even better odds with 2 first-round draft picks. Which, look at, if you see Brandon Hagel was traded away. Look at, we can go over here. Look at what they were able to get. Brandon Hagel, scrolling down. Let's go here. Go with Brandon Hagel over here. So look at, just for Brandon Hagel, who by the way makes if we go to him, he makes it's blocked, never mind. But he does not make a lot. He makes like a 1.8. He is a small piece of what the Lightning want or need. Look at, so of course Chicago moves out 2 4th-round picks, big deal, whatever, right? But Lightning were able to move out 2 1st-round picks, and they end up going to the Stanley Cup Finals with this guy, and a couple smaller guys probably just to move some cap space. So I think these may be prospects. I don't know. They're not noticeable in my worldview. So you can see this. We got 2 first-round draft picks for this guy. Like, get out of here. Wait the market out. Let him ride. Like I don't know why you traded so little for Alex DeBrincat. So I'm not. By the way, I'm not on the page, but I'll scroll down here. You can see right here. Look, Brandon Hagel right there. 2 first rounds. Get out of here. Nope. Get out of here. Get out. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Okay. I don't know why you're doing that to yourself. So. Anyways, so if we move on to the next guy, DeBrincat, again, not justified in my opinion. I think that was silly. It just doesn't make sense. So before we move on to the other silly one, let's go with Dominik Kubalik, another player that they just let walk, right? So this player is 27 years old right now, and so he was 26 when the Chicago let him go. He was drafted in the 7th round by the LA Kings, 191st overall in 2013. And so this guy took a lot longer to develop, right? ELC was signed at 24, so he took a lot longer to develop. But if we kind of go down, right? He ended up getting picked up. He had his rights sent to the Chicago Blackhawks, right? And so he ended up paying like a 3.7, right? So that was with the Blackhawks. And then that was for 2 years, and this is his starting contract. That was his ELC. And then you can see right now with the Red Wings, he's making 2.5, which by the way is a steal right now. It's a steal, and I can't believe they let him walk. I can't believe no one else picked him up for this price. And so if you look at now, the one caveat I would say with Dominik Kubalik is that, so you can see right here, his first year, 2019, 2020, he has 68 games, 30 goals. So he was on a huge pace. Let's see. If you're doing, let me do the math quick. So you're looking at 36 goal pace over 82 games. So that's awesome. That's sweet. I don't know, why aren't you keeping someone like this? That has potential like that. Again, look, you can see right here, 8 points in 9 games. I believe so. I read a stat. I think it was right here, Dominik Kubalik on his Wikipedia page right here. If you're looking right here, you can see it's in the bottom right here. I can't find it. Anyways, one of the things he's had right here is that it says that in the first qualifying round, right here, Game Series 1, he scored 2 goals and 3 assists in a 6-4 win. His 5 points were the most scored in an NHL postseason debut in league history, right? So this guy's he's got potential, right? There's some potential there. So I don't know what you're doing. What are you doing? Like, why are you moving a guy like this? No. I apologize. I said that you were moving him. Why are you letting him walk away for nothing? Nothing. You're nothing. Why are you moving away from nothing? And so, with that, like I said, you're looking at 38 points in 58 games. This guy's over a half point per game. He's 0.6, I would say, 0.7. He's does well, right? He's a producer, right? So you're letting this guy walk. You could get something for this guy, right? Again, now mind you, the team did not do well. Chicago Blackhawks, 32 points in 78 games. But again, he can put up goals. We know that, right? And so what are you doing? Why are you letting these guys walk? You should not let. I believe it's the only time that a team should let a player walk is if you think that they're going to be integral and letting you get to the further in the playoffs. So they should be the ones that let you go further in the playoffs, and you're like, man, like we really need this guy, right? So to give you an example, and we know the Stars offered John Klingberg. He offered him a 7x7 at the start of the year last year. And he was like, nah, I'm good. And then, John Klingberg didn't get a contract because the market wasn't there for him. And so he ended up signing a one-year deal on Anaheim. Now, the thing is that John Klingberg could have been sold. He could have been given away to other teams, or he could have been traded away to other teams. But he wasn't. He wasn't traded because either wasn't a market, or they felt that, hey, we're not going to find another offensive player like John Klingberg. So the Dallas Stars was like, hey, let's use him. Let's use him to go further in the playoffs. And they almost did. They almost beat. They should not have gone as long. They should not have gone that long against the Calgary Flames. Calgary Flames had the highest scoring line in all of hockey. It was three 40 goal scorers, right? Gaudreau, Tkachuk, Matthew Tkachuk, not Brady. We were speaking of Senators earlier. But anyways, you had Johnny Gaudreau, Mr. Hockey. You had Johnny Hockey, Matthew Tkachuk, and then Lindholm. So 3 40 goal scorers. Again, working off the chemistry of each other, which is great, which is awesome. But how did Dallas squeeze those players, right? They squeezed that team because of Ottinger stood on his head and he did a phenomenal job in the playoffs, which is one of the reasons they signed him for, I think it was 4 years, $4 million or something like that. I think he got $4 million. Anyways, so again, but the Blackhawks weren't even close to a playoff. Like what's your, again, maybe I'm wrong. What's your philosophy? What is your philosophy on players, on letting them walk? I think you should never let it do it. Even if you get a 7th, right? Just get something, man. It's just something, right? Like, I think even Hyman wanted to go for a 5th round pick, right, to Edmonton, and dude was like, I don't want to set that precedent. And I'm like, well, so what? Like, get something out of it. Just it's something, right? And so, anyways, that's my frustration with it. So let's go to the next one. So we have Dominik Kubalik again. And by the way, sorry, last thing, you can see right now. So look at almost a goal every other game. Did not do well this season. Again, 9 goals, 20 games, almost a goal per game. I mean, he's a point per game player right now. He's making less money. He took less money to come to Detroit, and he signed for 2 years. He signed for 2 years with the Red Wings, and we get another year of this. Like, the Red Wings are only going to get better. They're bringing in Edvison. They're bringing in. So I don't understand. Like, help me understand. Chicago fans, help me understand. I want to understand why you let this guy walk. Why do you let any of these players walk? Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Now I would say if you had to rank them, I would say so if you had to go the 4 players, and I haven't even done Kirby Dach yet, but I'll tell you, you pay, so in the rank of importance, right? You messed up the Dach trade, or the DeBrincat trade. You let Kubalik walk, which I think which is worse than actually getting for Kirby Dach, who is good. He's not great right now. He can be potentially, hopefully. And then you have the Suter one, right? In importance, to me, it just makes sense. Like, maybe I'm wrong. I think Dach could end up being something. I mean, that's why the reason the Canadians picked up, why the Canadians were willing to move out a first round pick for him, right? They said, hey, I think he has something here. I think that there's something there. But I think you have DeBrincat was terrible, right? Like, I guess in sense of importance, right? You can let Puis Suter go, I guess, but it doesn't make sense. But the ones that make the least amount of sense to me would be DeBrincat. Why would you move a guy like that? Kubalik, he was a 30-goal scorer at one point. I think he was a Calder finalist in his first year that he was a rookie. Then you have Dach. I don't know why you gave up on his potential already so early, right? And then you have Suter. He's an undrafted guy. You could have got something for him. Again, it doesn't make sense. So let's move on to the next one. We're going to go on to the last one is Kirby Dach. So we're actually like 21 minutes in here. So Kirby Dach playing for the Montreal Canadiens. I love saying Montreal like that. So I do have a French last name, but I'm still working on it. I'm still working on saying it in a French way. So I'm enjoying it. Anyways, so we have he's 21 years old. So young. Why you should third. Look over here. Third. I can't even move over here quick enough. It won't let me. I was trying to emphasize the third overall pick, but I could not find it. Right there, circled right there. Third overall pick. So what are you doing? What are you doing? Why is that playing? What are you doing? So again, they signed him to ELC. Plays out his 3 years. Good, great, grand, wonderful. And then Montreal picks up him. So it was his rights and everything. So they picked up his rights. And they end up signing him to a 4-year contract for $3.3 million. So good for them. I mean, taking a flyer on a guy like this who was a third overall draft pick, he has some potential. We know he does. He's a third overall draft pick, and so he's massive too. Look at this guy, 6'4". He's a center too. So he's center right wing right now. He's probably playing right wing. So this one ends up happening. You see this a lot with centers who are still developing in the NHL. I'm a huge Red Wings fan, so I can speak to the experience of Red Wings. And so what you saw with Dylan Larkin and Joe Veleno. Joe Veleno right now is currently coming up, but he's playing the wing for a while until he started getting more acclimated to the center position in the NHL play. Dylan Larkin, he played on the fourth line. And because he played on the wing because he wasn't there yet. He didn't have the speed yet. So you don't just throw a guy into a center position because it's a lot of responsibility. You need to develop your two-way play. And so if you're not ready for that, then don't let him go there yet. So again, let's kind of look over what the Blackhawks had with him. So 23 points in 64 games. Not great, right? Here's a shortened season right here. So he had 10 points in 18 games. Again, not amazing. But we knew there's potential. You don't get drafted. I mean, mind you, let's be honest, Chicago was crap. Chicago was crap at this time. The first 3 years, 19, 20, 21, and 2022, they were crap, right? And so I don't know why you move a third overall draft pick. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. And look, so we can go here. So look, Kirby Dach traded for a first round and a second round. I mean, to me, the only reason that you would do that is because Kirby Dach was not going to sign with you. He said explicitly, "Hey, I don't want to be here. I need a fresh start. I need to do something else." So that would make more sense. That to me would make more sense. So, but again, I don't understand what you're doing with that. Like, to me, you're giving up on a kid that has so much potential already. And look, so you can see here's his draft right here. First. You have Jack Hughes, played out really well. Kapokako, he's still developing, still growing. Bowen Byram was doing great. Kirby Dach, there he is, and currently now playing with the Canadians. So, but a lot of these guys, they're still young. I mean, look, Mort Suter won the Calder last year because he just got into the league. So you're giving up on a guy already that, there's two indications, right? He either said, "Hey, I don't want to be here," and I don't want to sign to you guys. And so that's an indication of culture. There's a hair. So that to me, it's an indication of culture. You're saying your young stars don't want to be here. By the way, that's also looking at Alex DeBrincat. Either I don't think he wanted to move. He still had 1 year left, but that's saying, hey, like, I don't want to be here, and I don't want to sign here. That's pretty toxic right there. Now they do have a new coach, Luke Richardson, so hopefully, and they are moving out some of the pieces, right? We know they're going to try and trade Taves. We know they're going to trade Kane. I mean, those two players are going. I mean, let's be honest. We just got to see. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So if your young kids don't want to stay here, what kind of culture are you developing such that they don't want to be here? And so in that case, if you're getting a first and a second, that would make more sense. But you want kids to want to stay here. I think that there's Arizona, who's to me doing a rebuild correctly, taking on bad contracts, but they're kind of stripping into the bones, and they're keeping young guys, and to me that makes sense, right? So that's where you want that. I think Arizona's doing a rebuild properly. I don't think Chicago's doing it properly, and so I would like to see a better improvement. Again, you're moving on from a guy. Look at him now with the Canadians. Look at his goal producing is not really there yet, but 17 points in 21 games. That's amazing, right? Now the cool thing about a lot of these players is they are doing really well. I mean, DeBrincat still takes some time. I think again he's on a team that's not doing that well right now, and that's unfortunate. But Puis Suter is doing better. The Red Wings are doing better with Puis Suter on the team. The Kubalik is doing phenomenal. He's one of the best acquisitions, probably the best acquisition of the offseason per the money coming in, right? I think he's performed well. I don't know if you can find another player that was over a point per game player that was signed for the deal that they got, $2.5 million. Best signing to me, best signing of the year. Kirby Dach, of course, still making a good chunk of money, but he will develop. He is a big centerman, and big centermen end up taking a lot longer to develop. That is a true statement. That's the way we keep hearing in the NHL. Again, as a Red Wings fan, we're seeing that as Michael Rasmussen. He's just now hitting his prime. He's a little bit older, right? But he is a big centerman, and he's starting to develop properly and into someone that's a useful NHL player. So again, those are my 4 players that I thought, hey, why are you trading these guys away? So let me know what your thoughts are on these. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Especially, I want to hear from the Chicago people and the Detroit people. I mean, I want to hear from everyone. Canadians, tell me I'm wrong. Maybe I'm incorrect in seeing these. But to me, like, why are you letting some of these guys walk, and why are you under trading these guys? I haven't heard any of the rumors about not wanting to be there, but that's all. As a fan of hockey, that's all I can think of is, hey, they just don't want to be here. So that makes sense on why they would leave. So again, tell me I'm wrong. I want to know your opinions. Appreciate it. Love you. Like and subscribe. Hit a comment. Throw a comment at all, because I want to know what to talk about. I'm just going to talk about what I want to talk about until you tell me what you want to talk about. So anyways, love you.